Wow. What's going on? What's going on? How's life? Rocking a bit of sleep deprivation, but feeling great. Yes, sir. Good, because I'm at church. Sweet. That's interesting. Watching streams at church. I never thought of that. People do that, but that's yeah. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, not fair. I feel I'm on the table where I could definitely create live streams all day if I felt the desire to. Personally, I haven't really consumed much live streams, but for some reason, just the creation, growing the community and growing the YouTube channel it's always feels like the move. But yeah. What's going on? Welcome, not Z4S. My day. My day was dope as fuck, honestly. I mean, I went to a show last night with a good friend of mine, and yeah, I kind of just like had a phenomenal morning. Just like spent time with her, and yeah, ate some breakfast. Did some sleep deprived um, songwriting. I'm always getting the hot water. Damn, son, I have no idea what to say, bro. Great performances. This guy, homie, you're just asking, bro. You're just asking for that golden ticket. What's the word? A 24-hour timeout. That's what this homie is desiring. He's just being like, just wants to lose the rights to comment on this stream. That's fair though, dog. I get it. We're not all meant to have that freedom. It's funny, the last day or so I actually haven't been doing my cold plunges in the river. Mainly because I've just been going out to shows a lot and just kind of doing outside the house stuff. Bruv, I don't even know how to take you seriously. Like, what the? Is this your idea of like this channel? If you're new to this channel, Hula or whatever the hell, this is a channel where I talk about music, I teach music, and I do meditative sound journeys, among various things, stream YouTuber stuff. But yeah, homie, I think you're lost. You're in the wrong channel for whatever this strange monologue. Let's see. But the user in timeout. I'll give you 30 minutes, brother. I'll give you 30 minutes. 30 minutes to think about why what you're saying is so bonkers. I'd love to know, for those of you watching, what sort of things do you find in your life are creatively inspiring you, be it people or, I don't know, styles of dance or music. Like, I'm genuinely curious. What kind of things around the globe is just inspiring the fuck out of you? It's American version of Dash E. Huh. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a song request, or are you like, you expressing I look American? I'm Canadian, brother. I'm Canadian. Nothing wrong with America. I mean, that's not true, but I mean, nothing wrong with Americans. American people, man, they're chill. At least from my experience. Heck yeah, you're my favorite YouTuber. Thank you, thank you. That's high praise. Considering I've only been a YouTuber for like 5-6 months. That's cool. I've been getting lots of sincere compliments, so that inspires me. That really motivates me. Genuinely, like I feel like once this channel grows to larger places and I get like more ambitious and start doing larger styles of content, interesting things are coming. Like, trust, this is the blast. That's all good, brother. It's all good, brother. It's funny, I found myself the last couple days had a lot of success with kind of like juggling percussive elements and pan flute and guitar dimensions. What about Indians, brother? Nothing wrong with Indians, bro. I've had nothing but good interactions with Indian people. Yeah, like in real life and over, of course, internet land. And there's actually a pretty decent, like relatively large Indian community in British Columbia. But yeah, I'll be honest. Like again, I don't hold like objective. Like I don't have all the perspective. Obviously, I haven't traveled the world, not yet, to kind of connect with all these different cultures. But I'll be honest, just by default, for the 31 years I've been alive, I truly feel like I love many different cultures. I can say that with utmost confidence. Like there's just so many awesome cultures out there. Like I resonate a lot with like Japanese culture, and like I like Ukrainian culture naturally because I'm part Ukrainian, and English culture and Romanian culture. There's just so many beautiful cultures out there that I feel, yeah, are just insanely inspiring. Like be it musically, but also almost like on a deeper context. And this does connect to Indian culture, is like naturally it's the spiritual context, like the means of like connecting with like ancient meditative and spiritual context. That's something, actually one of my favorite human beings. I mean, he's kind of controversial in the nature of as a philosopher, but you guys may or may not be familiar with Osho. He's an Indian fellow, was, I guess, I'm not sure. Yeah, he passed away a while ago, but that dude is incredible. Like I really enjoy Osho and Osho's philosophies. The accordion. Facts. That's wicked, dude. I like the Irish. That's phenomenal, dude. Honestly, I really enjoy. I haven't connected a lot with Irish culture, but I've met and I've dated actually a couple Irish women, and I just feel like the Irish people that I meet are just so rich and full of energy, like rich emotionally and energetically. Definitely somewhere I'd love to explore more. Oof, definitely needs a blend of Rosen for that. Oof. Just stabbed myself with the spring on my Rosen. Wow. Legendary. Well then. Yeah, if you do come here, I reckon you should go to the Ballinamore. Huh. In Leitrim. Ballinamore. Interesting. I'll keep that in mind, brother. Yeah. That's a not... I've never heard of that particular region. Yeah. One sec. I'll be right back. I just, like, stabbed myself in my face. Irish. Yeah, Irish. That's funny. I mean, it's kind of, I couldn't say it's like a direct representation of Irish culture, but I recently watched, well, rewatched, the movie Braveheart. And I have to say, like, I think they did a beautiful job of capturing sort of like the ancient, I guess that's more, where is it? I think it's like, not, maybe it's Scotland? It's like Ireland. There's the Irish and I think the Scottish, like in the Braveheart sort of world. But it's funny because, like, I remember actually as a young kid, I watched Braveheart in like a social studies class. Like it was literally like I remember vividly. It was like back actually it was in high school when I smoked a lot of weed, and I remember just coming into social studies class, and then this like really like savage teacher. He was kind of like very, I don't know how to describe it, like very old school kind of energy, and he basically just plays Braveheart. So like for 2 or 3 classes, I remember just sitting here and just zoning out watching Braveheart, and just being enamored with this movie because it was just so fun to watch this. But yeah, just rewatching that movie, it really made me appreciate just that like ancient, yeah, ancient sort of Scottish Irish. I can't remember exactly where it was situated. Braveheart, sort of like the ancient sort of cities and the ancient culture, and of course the warfare in that movie. But oh yeah, Scottish. Yeah, there's Scottish. Very coarse, very coarse. Out of curiosity, this is kind of a random Land Down Under by Men at Work. Can't say I'm familiar with that one, brother. Come down and check it out, see what this tune is. Sound lad, I'll tell. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. I'm sure you're a sound lad yourself. It's high praise, I feel. But as I'm curious about I was like, if you guys are watching, and I'm assuming maybe you guys are probably my target audience. Like, essentially, I create meditative sound journeys. I also teach guitar. But out of curiosity, what's a thing you find that you're drawn and say a music YouTuber. So say you're like, some of your favorite music YouTubers or, YouTubers that also happen to be guitarists or something. What's something you find they do well that you're just like, man, this resonates. Like this is just like, this just, yeah, it just lands. I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm down to look into this though. Down Under by Men at Work, because I'm not a cover artist by any means. Down Under. I teach people guitar, but I primarily do improv and original stuff. Down Under by Men at Work. For some reason that sounds kind of familiar, like Men at Work. Men at Work Down Under. Yeah, I think someone else kind of shared me or took me to this band. Okay, I can't play it out loud or I'll get copyrighted, but the frequency is 440 actually. I went back to 440 from 432. So we're at standard tuning, which actually I wrote a couple songs yesterday that I really am happy with that were actually in 440. Ah. Huh. It's very like cheery, like 80s, very 80s energy, or like maybe like late 70s. Huh. Huh. Men at Work. I have to say, I like this. I resonate with. I don't know why. This reminds me of like, what's that song? SOS. Forget who that's by. It's like on Guitar Hero. It's like an SOS kind of like 80s energy. But yeah, no, I dig that. I'm here. O'Shea. What's good? What's good, Sand? What's poppin', Sand Beach? Welcome. Welcome, It's K. What's poppin'? Happy Sunday, my friends. It's feeling like a great Sunday in truth. Like I'm pretty hyped. Sleep deprived, yeah, definitely sleep deprived, but I'm feeling great. Let's flip this back. It's funny though, I woke up this morning, I had this like epiphany where I was like, I'm English and Ukrainian, and I kind of have this like, for some reason I have this tendency to really love writing music sometimes in an English accent. So like very light English accent, like in a way of like Oasis or like, yeah, various other sort of British rock kind of stuff. And it kind of hit me. I was like, man, like I could definitely, it's almost like leaning into vocal fry, kind of like Sublime or something, where it's like you lean into like an accent that's kind of like creating a rhythm. But yeah, I kind of had this epiphany where I was like, man, I just want to play around with like this like flat chords. It's kind of like a Sublime arrangement, but in a completely different key. It just, for some reason, resonated. Heck yeah, dog. Appreciate the sharing your perspective, my friend. Sounds so good. Thoughts of that. Brilliant. Yeah, like I was just saying, like literally just shout out shout out to cultures. Shout out to the cultures. Like damn, cultures on the world, like I don't know, that's just I truly like I resonate a lot with like Japanese culture, and I've spoken like English and Ukrainian because that's my culture, but also like Romanian culture is something that I've been like enamored with, which is funny because that's the style of this is a Romanian instrument. And in essence, I dated a Romanian woman for about a year and a couple months. And I just gotta say, Romanian culture is beautiful. And it's kind of opened my eyes where I'm like, I'm just intrigued. I'm just like, bro, there's just so much depth. Like as a Canadian, I find like Canadian culture is kind of like a mix, right? It's like a blend of all these different like cultures, a lot of European cultures, but it's like almost like as a Canadian guy born and raised, I don't really have like a rich heritage. Like it's not like I have heritage, I have ancestors for the last like 10, 20, 30, 50 years or whatever. I just don't even know half of my ancestors. But what I find I resonate with culturally is kind of like an intuitive thing. It's kind of just like what I really on the deepest level just love and resonate with. And it's very interesting what flows through. Oasis is, yeah, I've honestly, it's hilarious. I've been like enamored with Oasis, where I knew of, like I knew Wonderwall, and I knew like what's it called? The song that's been stuck in my head all day. I can't remember right now. Feet, no. Live Forever, of course. Live Forever was a song that I heard. I was like, that is beautiful. But I never even realized that Oasis wrote those songs. Well, Live Forever. And then I just went through all Oasis music, and I was like, oh, these guys are like phenomenal. And yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I'm just loving these Picasso dimensions. Oasis and Baby Shambles. Interesting. I've never heard that in my life. Like I was kind of telling you the other day, where like I love bands with like random names that seem to just like make no sense, but in some rights they do. Like like Arctic Monkeys. Like that's like such a weird, outlandish name for some band or just a thing, but it works so well where it's just like you think like what is Arctic Monkeys, but then it's just like, then they rock. Yeah. Good to see you as well, or good to hear from you. Good to hear from you, Patrick. Have you ever listened to the band Queen? Yes, sir. I love Queen. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of their music, it's kind of like it comes in waves where stuff like Doing All Right, like their old early stuff. So I guess not technically Queen, but their earlier band, that stuff I feel like just connects. Like it just blows my mind. But yeah, musically I can appreciate Queen. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed it's very interesting the way I've seen. Guys, you're probably familiar with like slap harmonics that I kind of weave in, but I'm just have such a special appreciation for these like almost like almost unorthodox low slap harmonics that trigger the low notes, where it's almost like a violent or like tenacious attack like that, or it's just like it's not even a sound or a note really. It's surely not even just a note. It's like just a raw resonance pattern that's just. That's just my favorite. Like that's what I've been really stoked on and exploring lately. Is kind of like, oh fuck yeah, Oasis Magic Pass. It's funny. I don't know if this is something that you guys have any opinion about, or maybe so. I've been recognizing that I get so many requests that I think what I could do, and I'm thinking about going in many different directions with this, is create long format content where I'm literally just responding, to music that I know of. And I'm just like, music requests where people just like listen to this, and I do a reaction, like a reaction to some sort of song that really resonates that I've never listened to, because I haven't listened to a lot of music, but of course as a musician for like 15, 16 years, I deeply love like so many different types of music. But it's almost like, I'll be honest, part of me has intentionally not listened to a wide range of very popular music, where it's like I listen to what I really like, but I very slowly expand outside of that just to really savor it all. Heck yeah. New Zealand. You hit the guitar. Do you ever add more percussive elements to my playing? I do. Yeah, it's K. That's what I was actually just expressing is what I've been doing along the last couple days. I think I can get better because usually what I do is basically the basis of what I do percussively is I have this one sound, this one. I find, yeah, slapping right here, like right this spot. For some reason, that's like a sweet spot. I don't know how to compare it. It's almost like, I don't know what exactly kind of drum it would be. Maybe like a tom or some kind of, not a tom, but whatever is that like very dynamic drum. But these little hits, it's kind of just like, I think how Morrison says it. These are like one type of drum. This is another type of drum. I consider this another type of drum. Of course, this is more like a cymbal or like. Yeah, I'm a little lost on my percussive or my rhythm. Yesterday I was killing it, but definitely I got to kind of warm up rhythm. But another thing that I've been really stoked on doing is incorporating this baby, like this miniature hits. Yeah, it's honestly, well, it's because I've expressed the tone ramp. It stretches out the natural resonance pattern. And that's the beauty is it stretches out everything, literally every part. I'm gonna take off this lampshade. Is that too bright? No, that's pretty good. I like this. No lines, no lines on my face. But yeah, the idea is like, it stretches out every single little hit. So this is the mind blowing thing is, I've expressed my love for the tone ramp for harmonics, right? So, but the idea is every single sound you could ever think of on the guitar is enhanced. Every sound. So I could just like. Or even what I sometimes do is I just flip over the guitar. And then suddenly. The idea is that everything is percussive and it's enhanced with this tone ramp. I mean, I don't know. I'm just giving free advertisement or free promotion to the tone ramp all day long, but straight up, I swear, it is such a game changer because especially in the world of recording, I've actually been experimenting with this very lightly, but if I'm say on Ableton like I am right now, right? All I do is I gotta click. Like I could just open up my window, hit record, and then bang. That's like a percussive element. It's not very loud actually. I gotta kind of mess around with that, but it's so beautiful how like it records a perfect mastered percussive sound. Like listen to that. That's beautiful. Could use a little bit more mastering, but yeah, I love that shit. Yeah. Be honest, I don't know, but your style reminds me of Ed Sheeran a lot. Interesting. That's a really interesting take, Jumpin' Jim. Honestly, I'm so unfamiliar with Ed Sheeran. Like, I know him as a vocalist. I've listened to like 3 or 4 of his songs, but yeah. I'm curious in what way is it like, yeah. I didn't know Ed Sheeran even really shredded. I didn't know he knew really how to play the guitar, man. I knew he was a guitarist. but I didn't know he's like a progressive rock player. Have you ever been to Ireland? Absolutely not, but I would love to. Yeah. I've honestly only been to California and Hawaii. That's basically it. That's the only places that I've really traveled, and I want to travel like crazy. Appreciate you, San. Appreciate you, San, brother. You should loop a rhythm you played and play the harmonics over top. Two layered songs, your own genre, made up. Yeah. Oh yeah. When I was new to busking and like really in like a phase about several months ago, all I did was like play around with loops. Where's my loop pedal? I don't know where. Oh yeah, it's down here. But because I do live loops where I'll just use this baby, and then I'll just like loop various things. And looping is extraordinary, where it teaches you basically how to, well, basically how to songwrite very effectively. But that's also, yeah, where I love looping on Ableton. I'll be honest, this is kind of part of where I'm at is, um, part of what I do in these live streams is I'm recording live guitar loops. Like I'm just talking as I'm playing, and everything I'm playing, well, most of what I'm playing, I capture it for like a studio recording. At least that's what I'm doing the last like 6 7 days. So if I really like something, I'm like, oh damn, that sounded great. I can just take it and yeah, I can just like expand off of it. And part of what I love about that is I'm relatively new to like producing music. Like I listen to a lot of electronic music, like really beautiful, beautiful electronic music. But I think in the future, probably maybe the next couple years, I'm just gonna create really mind-blowing electronic music. And part of what I think is the foundation for me to get to that point is I like orchestrating music. So, I play a guitar riff and then I can like layer on piano, layer on flute and pan flute, or layer on all these different elements. And I think it's teaching me to arrange music to a point where at a certain point I'll just create, all these different elements via Ableton, just create synths and strings and all these trippy sort of elements and do the very same thing I do here, just improvising and layering in loops and to a point where it becomes this like beautiful, very extensive sound journey. I mean, I could probably even start doing that now, but that's kind of the direction I see this going, yeah. Just harmonics, harmonies, all sorts. It's just, there's so much you can do musically once you tap into how to arrange music. If you basically, I mean, this is the thing, I talked about this for a long time, and probably like 8 9 years ago, I had such mental blocks around producing music, studio recording and arranging music in Ableton. Like I just knew nothing. I was such a novice. And I had a couple friends, my one friend in particular. Actually, it's the same friend that inspired me to pick up acoustic guitar in this style. Like he showed me Anime Key like 10 years ago. Shout out to Spencer. He's literally like that dude. I I see him every once in a while at like events and we talk about music, but this dude is literally like a musical genius who low key he just creates like really intricate electronic music like neuro and like glitch hop and underground like experimental music. But literally this dude is the same dude that downloaded Ableton on my computer, showed me how to engage in Ableton. It was really a game changer for my studio recording process. Alongside also, yes, showing me Ableton. Do I have a girlfriend? I do, yeah. My dating life is pretty blessed, I would say. Like I think I'm a kind of guy that's like I spent a lot of time studying the mind in myself, and I feel like over the last like year and a half, I had like I kind of said, I dated this Romanian woman, phenomenal human being for like a year and a couple months, and I exited that relationship like a month and a half ago, and then I recently met someone that I'm like enamored with, and she's phenomenal. She's actually part Irish, part German. That's like her blend. I think she has some other European blends, but yeah, I love love. Love is great, brother. It's it's the bee's knees. And really just the essence of that too, like speaking about love and partners or whatever, is like I'm a strong advocate of life should be fun. Like, you guys may have been familiar. I've spoken in the past where I advocate sobriety. I've been sober for 11 years. I drink if I desire to, like I'll have a shot here and then, but not when I go out and party. I party and go to raves and stuff all the time. And I strongly advocate the value of just celebrating life, like just having fun, going to shows, just having phenomenal ecstatic times. And I personally, I do this and have been doing this for 11 years completely sober. And this is kind of outlandish to some, but what I'm simply saying is a huge part of, I think, just being a human being, and I truly see this as a huge part of just being a human being, or as an artist being a human being, is just giving yourself permission to have fun as much as humanly fucking possible. And in my experience, again, I do that outside of intoxication. I personally, I feel sober reality is the purest and most powerful, especially as an artist, where it's like artists literally are just people that are just transmuting raw energy. So it's like, if you're in a place where you're not really embracing and being present with reality in its fullness, you truly aren't really diving deep and applying yourself. You're not transmuting the raw human experience. And obviously the raw human experience is really intense. I mean, that's the whole point of being an artist, is you express yourself. You're taking that energy of this 3D reality and you're letting yourself honor this by channeling this into art. Yeah, it's a beautiful process, but I think it really is the key. Thank you, brother. Yeah, this is a gift. This shirt was a gift from a good friend of mine, so it's very, very resonant. It's like a very special shirt to me. It's also very comfortable. It's like a jersey. It's literally just like basketball jersey that looks very psychedelic. Oh yeah, no, I have nothing but love, honestly, for pretty much every single partner I've had previously. Like maybe like one or two when I was younger, I could be like, that person, I think they got a lot. They're still on packaging, but yeah, I don't know why. That's kind of just a belief I've always held since I was young. Is like I strongly believe in like holding, um, what's the word? Like an open heart to people, especially obviously partners. It doesn't matter if you're, because this is the thing, like I'll just be transparent with sort of part of what I believe is when we analyze what relationships are for, right? The relationship of connecting, the concept or the ability to connect intimately with someone is the core intention is to basically connect with another human being so you can, learn to integrate and heal each other and grow and expand and just, have a safe space to communicate and heal with each other. And I think very simply what I'm saying is it's people should not hold such attachment to whether people are aligned with us or not. It's almost like we should not take things personally per se, especially in the realm of an intimate relationship. Like it's almost like it's a very weird realm that I think is like an unpopular, ununderstood opinion that a lot of people, I think they try to associate and take these dimensions of navigating intimate relationships so personally, for the ego sake. It's like they attach their ego so heavily, but the reality is relationships, they're tools. They're like alignments. They're things that we should be seeing them for what they are, the sacred tools they are. And when we see that, we're like, oh, this is a person that is aligned with my path at this time or not. We can be radically honest with ourselves and the world. And then basically what I'm simply speaking of, and this goes beyond just love and relationships, is you should be honest with yourself about what you desire in this world. Like I really feel this is an important thing. Is like I think a lot of people, when they're fundamentally malaligned, they're just denying the fundamental desires they have in this world, whether it's to like, be yourself and express yourself unapologetically, or if it's just to express your truth and own your desires of what you want in life or in love. It's just like there's so much that can be achieved when you understand what you desire in this world. So sometimes it's like the core mechanism is literally just to crystallize your desires in this world. Like, what do I really want in this world? How can I achieve this? And then just letting this flow. And of course, on the contrary, there's a lot that happens, that maligns, a lot that really difficult, a lot that can surface when we suppress ourselves, we suppress our desires, suppress, the truth of what we feel within our reality. That's like, I'd say, the most fragmenting entity that could ever exist, is our means of just suppressing the nature of what is. It's like whether we're just like suppressing what we desire to align in our life or XYZ. It's just like, I think we can really, like, I'll exit this tangent after this, but I think we can return to alignment very quickly and return out of fragmentation when we understand and observe objectively the nature of suppression. Understanding like why fundamentally, and this is the thing I actually talk about a lot with like people when we're talking about like relationships and XYZ, is like the core thing that is important in life, I feel, is the relationship with yourself. Like the trust, the respect, and the love that you hold for yourself. And I think a lot of things can actually be routed or rooted in where our relationship with ourself fundamentally has become compromised. Like you can almost look at the distinct, clear moment in your life where you're just like, when did this relationship or this friendship or this boundary or XYZ, it's like, where did this compromise my love, my trust, or my respect for oneself? And this doesn't necessarily mean you have to radically act from this place, but it's an observation point to look and be like, okay, this was the moment where my relationship with self was compromised, and then this means this is where you need to look and shed the awareness. Anyways, yeah, just some words. I'll be honest, like I said, this is like my conclusion. A concluding point is, I'll be honest, like in the domain of understanding people, right? Like if you go through life and you're like, man, my relationships or my friendships or my community is like XYZ, is like, it's not what you desired it to be. It really comes down to, oh man, I lost my train of thought. What was this? Yeah, I don't know, the sleep deprivation hit me, but yeah, I'll come back to that. But yeah, it's absolutely, the relationship with oneself is vital. This is what happens when you philosophize after going to a show at 4 in the morning, or 2, 4 in the morning. Oh yeah, basically all I was saying was, it's important to be curious about social dynamics. That's basically all I was saying, is like a lot of these things that I was kind of like zeroing in on is it's important to study social dynamics. Like almost be like, if all these dimensions of your relationships or XYZ is not aligned or is not like functioning, it's just an invitation to be like, how can I learn or study the underlying social dynamics of what is occurring here? This is what I often find myself conclude. It's like you look at, your relationship, or maybe how you navigated certain relationships that were to be or not to be. It's literally just an invitation to go deeper in understanding the social dynamics that are at play. It's literally all that. And I'll be honest here, this is extremely important in life. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to live in this way or not, but it's like, it's important to be an observer and to be curious of social dynamics, especially in the nature of relationships. Because when you observe these, you can learn so much. You can put so much in perspective, and even further, it can integrate things that we might have misunderstandings about, where we think, but this and that, we might have such like frustrations or, again, fragmentation or indifference. But it's like, this is literally just an invitation to study the social dynamics, because they're interesting. Humans are interesting. Human beings are interesting. This is like the entire study of sociology. There's people that devote and dedicate like massive amounts of time to studying social dynamics, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, human beings are very interesting. And in truth too, like, kind of a part of that is obviously we're on a live stream, and it's just like, showed love. Interesting. I'm not sure what me do is, but heck yeah, dog. I'm curious, but thank you for subscribing to this channel. But very much, yeah. Lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, basically, it's beautiful because YouTube, YouTube live streams. This is obviously kind of just what I was speaking of. This is a beautiful example, particularly for me, obviously, as the facilitator of this live stream. It's a very interesting social experiment for me. And it's also for you guys that are present, engaging, participating. But yeah, YouTube live streams, it's not always this way. Like sometimes there's live streams or live portals that aren't necessarily um, aren't really coherent or aren't comprehensive to social dynamics or learning about social dynamics. But I learn a lot. I find it's very interesting to see what happens in live streams. Whoa. Let's a little closer to that. Yes, welcome, Anita. What's good, Michael? Very nice. Yeah, I remember you chiming in the other day, brother. Yeah, welcome to this portal. And yeah, thank you, Yellow Summer, thank you for sharing your thoughts on my rambles, my random, unsolicited advice. It's great though. No, I deeply resonate. I appreciate you resonating with what I'm speaking to because these are things I've had conversations with many friends. Of people that I feel like I come to these core conclusions often on mushrooms. Like a lot of these realizations that I'm kind of speaking to, specifically the one I was speaking of, how understanding how so many things can be rooted to a relationship with ourself. These core fundamental things of like love, respect, and trust for ourself. And these were like deep realizations that I unpackage often from a place of a lot of like frustration and indifference and fragmentation, where I would just be like in the forest on mushrooms, maybe exiting a relationship, and I'd be sitting there and be like, wow, where did I go wrong? Like, what happened here? How did this get to this place? And again, it's not always easy because, like, straight up, SpongeBob, D's guts. Welcome, my dog. I don't think this is the time to play SpongeBob. I mean, let's see, brother. I know there's a homie that let's see how easy this song really is. Guitar Dave. Shout out to Guitar Dave. He's the homie that just plays random songs all the time. Chase song, top 5 SpongeBob songs, how to play Krusty Krab.
5 SpongeBob songs?
Don't want to get copyrighted. Oh. That's the best song, I must say. The SpongeBob closing theme. I don't know if I got it in me right now, but let's see. Standard tuning. Oh, we go right here. Oh, it's in the 8. Ah. And then it's like dun, 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 dun. I gotta say, this is a beautiful song. Wow, that's actually a banger. Shout out to SpongeBob. And then it goes to something else, I imagine. Oh, yeah. Dude. 12, 12, 14. Wow, we learn something new every day. Yeah, bro. That was SpongeBob. I got you, brother. Honestly, I'm a big fan of SpongeBob. I was just rocking 432 hertz tuning the entire time on those streams. So it was like I had to change my entire tuning just to try to figure it. But oh man, I gotta say, yeah, South Park is a banger. I don't know if I can learn that one so easily because I don't think it's the South Park theme's that easy, but we'll see. South Park theme song. This is top tier content, brother. This is what's good. This is what it's all about. Oh. So 13.9. Interesting. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, but I don't think it's like as simple. Facts. Yeah, I got you, brother. This is what I'm here for. Learning cartoon songs and passing on. That's great, though. Honestly, that's a banger that I think I can just teach other people. Lay it on some shorts. Feed the algorithm some love. This is the moment of the day when I listen to you and you reconnect. Wicked. Phenomenal, brother. That's phenomenal, brother. High praise. I'm happy to pass the torch of connecting to oneself, brother. Because that's the key. It's kind of like my tangent was going off. Is like that is the key. Like this was kind of my connection philosophically to it. It's like as I've seen, the root of so much indifference is when we compromise a relationship with ourselves, like the love, trust, and respect we hold for ourselves. But the reality is, obviously, the way this manifests, the way this unravels, like in real time, in our real reality, sometimes we look back and be like, wow, how have I strayed so far from our relationship with self? And I've been there, of course. Hell, even looking back at my previous relationship that I honestly feel blessed to be a part of, there was so many blessings in this relationship, but I remember reflecting the last few months and being like, wow, like I think fundamentally there was a part of myself, like my authentic connection with myself, that I was maybe not fully aligning with or listening to. And this was obviously the truth. This was the absolute truth. And acting from that made me much happier and objectively just more clear. Because that's the thing is like, obviously, I think I speak about this a lot, but the key to a lot of things in life, and like, it's even just like the simplest right I was speaking about, like, I think what it looks like, to be healthy, but also even further, if we're going to go this direction, to be spiritually connected. Like, what does it look like in the simplest right? It's clarity. It's literally clarity. It's the ability to see with a clear sight, the clear lens. Like, that's basically the essence of what being connected to spirit, to a spiritual connection is clarity. And if you can understand that, you think, okay, the basis of so many deeper dimensions of like mental health, spiritual health, and etc. is literally clarity. It's discernment, the ability to see clearly, make clear decisions with a clear mind, and yeah, just see and feel and see the world with a clear sight. This then only invites us to literally ask ourselves very honestly, what things are we perceiving in our life without clarity, with distortion? It's almost like you can look objectively and be like, okay, how can I return to a site of clarity? And that's where, again, my core thought is it's our relationship with self. It's our love, respect, and trust that we form with ourselves. This is how we form the ability to see with clarity. And I think that's a thing I'm fortunate to have nurtured, right? Bravo. It's never easy, brother. We're human beings, bro. Like, I think the homie Filucast. Interesting name. Is referring to what I'm speaking to, but we're human beings. We're in the 3D. Like, obviously, this is not nothing's as simple as it seems. But the reality of it is, like, that's because we're humans. It's because we're in the 3D. It's because the whole reason why we're in these, like, these bodies, these things, is we are meant to almost like split things off in a dualistic way. Like, we try to think it's this versus that. It's you versus me. It's XYZ. It's like you can think of all the billions of ways everything is split into dualistic way. But obviously, in the simplest right, we are unified. Like, the unified, what we originally are is one. But obviously, we're here in the 3D to integrate the 2D and the 3D. Like, we're here in this 3D realm to learn and integrate. And part of that is struggle. It is indifference. It is distortion. Like, to see clear, you have to know distortion. It's just it's all dualistic. But yeah. Anyway. Bravo. Amazing. That's pretty cool. Yeah. South Park theme. So this one I think is easy as shit, but I also think it's like it's speedy. And it's lots of, that's right, there's lots of like palm mutes. Okay. Oh. Oh, wow. Ah. 11, 11, 11. Very strange. Okay, I get you. Just looking into the South Park theme. I don't think it's gonna happen right now, but in due time. In due time. And honestly, it astonishes me so much. At least in the pretext, what seems to be the core tone for what a lot of people, or the role that a music YouTuber often plays, which is pretty interesting because obviously it's a learning process, but I find it intriguing, very simply, but also it gives me perspective on what the role a lot of people think a music YouTuber is. You know, it's like a performer, like a music teacher, like a XYZ, but what I think is most interesting for myself is I personally see YouTube as a different realm. I think I have a different role and I desire to create a different tone for what a music YouTuber is, where it's almost like, I think, you know, a music YouTuber can be like a teacher. They can teach guitar, they can inspire, they can perform, or, you know, maybe they can cover music if that's their niche. But I think truthfully, a music YouTube channel can be so much more. Like, it can be such a rich and diverse or multi-dimensional platform. And this is what I think and it may make sense if you look into my channel, what I've been trying to grow so far is like, I really think that a music YouTuber can like be so much more than just your standard music teacher. Like, they can really, like, even just like, depends on the person, of course, and the intention, but very simply, I have a deep desire to, you know, be a full-time YouTuber, to create like a full-time, a large platform or a community, you know, via my YouTube channel. But what I desire to create with it is so much more than just teaching people guitar. And I realized this very early on, because like I don't think I would ever be able to really motivate myself or be inspired to do this if it was just simply like, hey, we're just gonna learn riffs today and here you go, let's learn some riffs. It's like, I feel like there's a much richer and much more fulfilling way to connect people through music. And obviously streams is kind of a beautiful part of it. It's like holding a space, interacting with the community at large. But yeah. And also, I think in the simple summary of what I'm saying is, I kind of desire, I didn't create this name, Ashe Movement, you know, as my like little secondary search bar function thing. That was actually more related to a different description of the word movement. But I think the more that I let it sit, it is like Ashe Movement. I want this to be a movement. I want this to be like a channel that is like creating like a very powerful ripple in the YouTube sphere. Anyway. Good times. What happened here? Okay, I think I flipped off my volume because, yeah. I think what we're going to do here is pop into the key of F. This is a good choice, key F. Yeah, that is Scar's gang. Yeah. That's kind of part of that's part of the sort of backstory that I unintentionally created. Is like basically the reason a Shay was originally meant to be my fire performance moniker. It was like my name, my fire performer name. I was like, yeah, this is what a Shay could be. Like when I first discovered this word, and I felt like connected to this word spiritually. But then I recognized that this is, and that's why I changed. That was my profile picture. That was like a photographer shot of me doing a handstand, with palm torches on my hands and a fire staff. And then I recognized that no, Ashe actually, I think has a deeper connotation. And I decided that I'm gonna make this my YouTube channel with a much larger message. And then, yeah, I just kept the profile pic. But yeah, that's me doing a handstand. Wow, that was a nice key shift. Just felt like a nice picture to just keep there. Wow. I'm really, really enjoying this key here. Thank you, dog. Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah, I train a lot of calisthenics, like handstand push-ups, strength training, movement training, parkour training. That's what I've done a lot of. And that's like, yeah, it was a good capture. I was just like mid performance. I've not been to Ireland. It'd be cool to go there. I feel like that'd be a phenomenal place to visit, truthfully. Let's see if I can capture something from this key of F. I kind of flowed, kind of did a couple strange key shifts. gonna flip off this golden light. It's very jarring on the eyes. Beautiful. Natural lighting. So you're athletic too. Is anything can't do? Hey, thank you, dog. Yeah, I like to live. I do like to. Yeah, I'm very diverse. Because I think, truthfully, like without going too deep on a tangent, it's like a lot of these skills that I do, they all stream into each other, right? It's like, I look at it like this. It's like you may be familiar with the thing called ikigai, right? It's the Japanese um the concept, the dynamic of reason or purpose for being, right? And it's like a mandala where there's like four different sort of realms. And for me, it's like this is how I see it. It's like music is like a single piece of this, right? But then there's also for me, it's like I'm into tutting. Like I'm a dancer. I can do like tutting, waving, animation, all these kind of styles of dance, and it all streams into also my training, like my athletic pursuits. They also play a role in how how I am as a tutter, as a dancer, which is also influences the way I'm able to create musically. And it's always just like all these elements. I feel they complement each other. That's basically what I'm saying. Can you sing my song, please, I can't say I can perform a song that I do not know. Wow. I can play some improv though for my guy. Let's exit the F though, the key of F. That's not it, brother. I must say though, like I speak of this very openly, like YouTube is such an interesting entity, like growing a YouTube business, like being in the process where you're like, all right, let's be a YouTuber. Like genuinely, I feel like the more I've understood it, I've been studying YouTube for like a couple years now, and I've been like growing this YouTube channel for about 6 months at most. And the thing is, it's very much like it's like a psychological and like spiritual and philosophical quest, like growing a YouTube. And I really feel it's like such a bizarre experience where, in the simplest right, heck yeah, true, I like the way you look at life. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. I try. I do. I think the way I try to explain a lot of the things I do is like, I, when you're authentic with yourself and the world around you, and maybe you form a healthy relationship with discomfort and discipline, and you do things you love. Like for me, guitar is something I'm deeply connected to and I love. The natural product really does seem to just manifest into a state of being humbled, like humbled by life, by the universe. Like I look at it like this, like I've been a guitarist since again I was like about 11, about started when I was about 8 or 9. But the idea is that like you become humbled by things. Like in this, at least this is my experience. It's like once you recognize how little you actually know, like you're just like, wow, there's such a mass diversity of how this instrument can be applied. It's like it really humbles you. We're just like, man, there's so much to learn and so much to find out. And I think that's a very important stance to find yourself. Obviously, not just with guitar, but with like so many different parts of life, if not everything. It's like you can always have a humble heart and be open to learning more, and more so recognizing how little you know. And I really think being in a humble stance, it actually opens you to the universe, and the universe can bless you. Like if you're really in like an actual humble, open-hearted state, that is the way the universe is able to just like bless you powerfully. And then, once you feel that, you feel grateful. You're just like, damn. Saw Fire Thrower on another guy's music channel. Was clever. Huh. Saw Fire Thrower. Oh. Yes. Yeah, fire performers, honestly, they're incredible people. Like, I've met a lot of, not all of them, some of them are just kind of very, very human, but I definitely have come to, like, connect a lot with the fire community, like, the fire performing community. And yeah, I mean, it's possible in the future, for the sake of it, like once this channel really blows up, because this is part of it is like, um, I love creating. I love creation, like creating content, creating, music, creation of all sort, right? And I'm looking forward to being in a place where I'm not only growing this YouTube channel, via music, via how I'm creating this community, but I want to bridge worlds. Like I want to really just create large, like capital P performance art, like all performance art, not just music, but dimensions of acting, dimensions of like acrobatics and fire performance and dance, and see the way these things all connect. And I feel like in the future I definitely desire to like bridge all these worlds. So yeah, long story short, I think it's very possible I'll do live streams where I'll just do, fire performance and all the sort of types of performance I do, because it's just fun. I like to share this with my friends, casually, and then my YouTube channel is like an extension of that, where I can just like share with the larger audience of friends on the worldwide or world level. Perfect. I just casually slipped into 432 hertz. So it's like a little off kilter, but the tuning is 432 hertz, yeah. But yeah, I guess long story short, kind of the extension of what I was speaking to is I really come to notice, and it's again, sort of what I was speaking, it's like humbling, but also it really inspires me and resonates with my journey of how humbling being a YouTuber is. Like how much, basically the journey of being a YouTuber, like think of this in this most objective way. Most of you probably can understand this. For YouTubers, like when you start, when you're just like 0 to 10 to 20 subscribers, it is humbling as shit. Where you could be, you could be an extraordinary artist, a speaker, or XYZ, but the process of going from 0 to wherever you desire to go, it's like a spiritual journey. It's like a psychological process where you have to really put the ego in perspective and really understand, for one, how to honor your own value and how to connect, maybe with others, and put yourself out of your own lens of engagement. Like almost create not just for yourself, but to connect with an audience and to unify. It's just like, it's such an interesting journey, I feel, and especially for a guy like myself, and for like anybody that like desires to, like, hey, I want to grow a YouTube channel and like take it to wherever you want to go. You have to be like radically humble. Like you got to be in a place where you're just like, I'm doing this for X amount of time with zero praise, with zero validation, so to speak. And it's bizarre to see how that shifts. Like even me, I'm like I made momentum like a couple weeks ago on my channel. Fortunately, it's gotten to this place where I'm like proud. I'm like, damn, like the progress I've made is exponential. It's where exactly I want to be at with it. But I'll be honest, brothers, is like a month ago, I had zero idea that this was gonna happen. A month ago, I was still grinding away. I was still like just being really just passionately creating, like conceptualizing different ideas, just being very ambitious and being like, I don't know or when my efforts are gonna translate, but to me, it's like it didn't really matter because I understood the long-term vision of how these things work. But it's bizarre. It's just it's the most humbling thing, and it's bizarre. What I'm almost commenting on is I know so many passionate and talented artists in my community, like friends of mine, people that are like, yeah, I would love to create a YouTube, or I'm creating a YouTube, and they're just it's not translating. And I think it's like it really requires just a powerful amount of humble reverence for the process. And also in the simplest right, this is where part of why I'm excited to grow my own YouTube is I desire to lift and influence, other people. Like get to a point where like I can help plant seeds of people that need to like push through that difficult process of being in a place where it's like, man, I don't no, there's no noticeable progress. But then you see that there is a mentality that is required to make it through that first piece. But yeah, thank you, dog. I feel that's surely what has been consistently inspiring me further and further is the sincerity, like the level of sincerity that I feel like random people or like allotments of people that have been present on this channel that have just been like, really happy to see what I'm doing or the presence that I'm bringing. It's like that is life changing, where it's literally like to see even just the first, allotment of like a few people saying that, or a allotment of like 10, 20 people, but to see the consistent feedback of like healthy feedback of people being like, yeah, this is you're on track. It's beautiful. Where it's like, I I absolutely appreciate that sort of realm of it. And again, it just makes me realize that YouTube does, I think, require this type of authenticity, like this type of presence. It requires like, yeah, people that are able to create content that is like has a deeper context, just really has a deeper intention, if you will. And obviously just too musically. I lost the scale there, but yeah. Yeah. I'm stoked though. Life has been beautiful. I'm hecka sleep deprived, but I'm just feeling very blessed. Huh. I see what happened here. My preamp resets. Still sounds good though. Yo, it's 4:49, so it's like, yeah, 4:49 p.m. So innately, sometimes, usually I do stream at this time. Usually I like to stream at like 12:01 in Canada. So that's like 3 or 4 hours prior. But then sometimes, yeah, I pop in at like 5 ish. And then I like to also pop in at like 8 ish. Yeah. Really just various streams or various hours. It's like to be in heaven. Phenomenal, brother. Thank you. Thank you, dog. It definitely feels the same where it's like this is where what it is for me to just whoa, drop in this thing so. No, but it really is like it's like entering this portal of I create this music and have created, improvised music and just play guitar for quite some time now. Like I do this, I would do this obviously with or without a stream all the time. And I think there's another dimension to it. Naturally, it's what performance art is. When you get to a point you're able to put your music out there, like you're just like, okay, I'm now confident enough or self-aware enough to desire to perform in front of other people. That's like another tier where you're like, okay, now you are able to understand the intention of putting music out there. And then this is almost like another sort of piece of it is like now doing it with a further intention to try to grow a community and, improvise a live stream. It's like, yeah, it's like these are things that I'd be doing by myself and have been doing by myself for many years, and it's cathartic. It's catharsis, and it's like I'd like to believe it's kind of like I'm trying to. My intention is to share the catharsis. Hmm. Interesting. Now that's fair, bro. What do I think about getting married? I mean, I think long story short, I've always been one that believes, whether we're talking about like having a child, being in a relationship, or getting married, it should be extraordinarily intentional. Like to the context of this should be something that you treat with like a reverence and put genuine intention within it. It's almost like, and I think a lot of people, I don't know, the majority of people, that get married, but looking at historically, like looking at my family, my parents, hell, a lot of people's parents from a similar generation, it seems that a lot of people did not get married with like the deep, most utmost intention of what marriage is. And again, I'm not an expert, but strangely enough, it's funny that you asked that question because I found myself come across a podcast. You guys may be familiar. There's a lawyer. His name's James Sexton. He's a divorce lawyer. Very intelligent individual. I really like his perspective. Basically, what this fellow does is he literally spends all day long settling, divorce court claims. He's a lawyer. He deals with basically the reality of what it looks like when a marriage goes wrong. And it's interesting because this fellow seems to still really deeply love the idea of a healthy marriage, the idea of healthy love, the idea of healthy relations. It's almost like this is a guy, he's been a divorce lawyer for 40 years, very intelligent fellow. And he's very transparent, very blunt with how he feels about marriage. And the simplest, right, he believes a lot of people don't necessarily understand what marriage is. Like people think, it's this sort of romanticized, fantasy. But in his mind, it's very simple. Marriage is a contract. It's a legal contract that's legally binding that served a purpose, in a society at a point. Nowadays, a lot of people don't even necessarily understand what marriage actually is. It's not synonymous with a healthy, long-lasting relationship. It's not synonymous with, building and growing a family. It's just a separate entity that doesn't have a necessarily even a whole lot to do. And this, I'll be honest, this is the same caveat with a lot of the way society operates, is marriage probably had, as sort of James Sexton sort of speaks to, it had a use, an application, a role. Marriage did. Even historically, like 100 years ago, marriage was literally created, from what this fellow says, to, what was it? Basically, what was it? It was like, it was basically for the safety, like the legal safety, but also like the emotional safety. It was something to do with like the way, life was when men would go to war, and then like women would sort of have to, they would basically have shorter lifespans, and there was like a very political reason why marriage was created. But yeah. But long story short, I think I agree that marriage is probably similar to a lot of systems where it's like there was a role in society. Like there was a role, there was an intention that was pure, that was powerful, that was like, a very beautiful idea. But unfortunately, in our modern society, humans have come to misinterpret, abuse, distort, misconcept what this original role and model of what marriage was. Now, I'll be honest, I feel a similar way with a lot of the models of society, like be it religion per se. It's the exact same sort of model of like there was a model, there was a role that had a function, maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe thousands of years ago, probably not thousands, but I think marriage is very similar. It's like it had a system, it had an application, it had a really powerful role. Modern 2026, it's unfortunately become grossly distorted, grossly misconcepted. And I don't know, again, I'm not an expert. I kind of have these interesting conversations with like, some people that'll be like, no, I'm so destined to become married for XYZ. Maybe it's their religion, maybe it's their family, who knows? It's not, they're well-founded reasons. But I kind of return to this original thought of being like, do the people that desire to become married without an intention, do they understand exactly what marriage actually is and what it actually, like, what they're associating marriage with? And again, it could be societal pressure, it could be family pressure, it could be religious pressure, who knows? But the idea is, I don't think people even understand necessarily anymore what marriage is. And this is what, again, this divorce lawyer basically reinforces. Is like, for some reason, people have forgotten exactly what this model of what marriage is. And very interesting talk. But anyway, that's my thoughts. It's so funny you asked that question, because I was literally having this conversation last night with my new partner. I'm just sitting there just like, I was watching this podcast, and I was like, this blew my mind. But yeah. Sometimes many persons think only about the idea of marriage. Marriage is a sacrifice. Yes. Lies the word. It's yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, that could go deeply, like Lomar, it's like that could go so deeply philosophical and psychological of being like, yeah, it's like, do people understand the consequences of their actions? Like, this is what the divorce lawyer literally candidly speaks of. He's a divorce lawyer. This guy literally sees people who are reaping the consequences of their actions, of like basically, thinking, oh, let's jump into marriage and let's see what happens, or let's jump into marriage out of XYZ on reasons. And then he sees like what this divorce lawyer does. He has to literally unpackage all the messy, uncomfortable conversations that couples did not have early on. Like, this is basically the basis of what this podcast is about. And I agree with this fellow, is that what a divorce lawyer basically does is he's unpackaging all the uncomfortable conversations that newly married couples did not necessarily have. And this is why they're at his office, in a divorce lawyer office, and he's basically forcing to have it. Like, okay, well, let's start talking about like why, like who has this entitlement, or do you understand the role of this or that? And it's like all this crazy stuff that basically all comes down to the same thing, is, these couples. And again, this isn't unique to just to obviously marriage per se. This is, I think, a core thing in relationship dynamics as a whole, is it's so important in relationships just have uncomfortable conversations. Like, there's so much that can go wrong when people try to deviate from just simply having genuine, honest, uncomfortable conversations. And it's bizarre, because I think that's also the crux of how marriage, or at least dysfunctional marriages, how those manifest. Yeah. Anyways, I'm speaking words. But I like these things. I like talking, like opinion. I like to philosophize. Like, this is what I really deeply love to do. You're a smart dude. Thank you. We have talked a lot of stuff today. It's all good. And yeah, no, yeah, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you listening. This isn't like, this is just like, I enjoy taking to this place. Because I mean, shit, it's like having the ability to just hold space for a good dialogue or monologue, I guess, in this case, is it's healing. It's powerful. Like, I think the core part of what I'm even trying to emulate is your opinion. Like, your voice matters. Like, this is the thing that I've basically, as I desired to become a YouTuber, I went down this deep rabbit hole of learning to empower my voice. Because I'll be honest, for like 5 years ago, I was deeply disempowered in my voice. Like, I was not the kind of person that was very verbose, or like I didn't articulate the things that I felt very often. I just didn't. It was like communication was not really a strong suit, at least not verbalizing it. I very much valued the nonverbal, but I think part of what I'm trying to embody is it's important to value communication and the things that you value to communicate. Like, if you feel like, you have perspectives and opinions, it is important to voice these things. It's important to like express what you think. And that's kind of basically the basis of what I'm kind of trying to embody, is like, I'm just speaking my mind. I'm just speaking because I have learned how to give myself permission to do so. And I think for all of us, like, if you guys are watching and you think that that's something that you feel like you'd love to strengthen, I 1000% highly advocate that. Like, to go on a journey to re-empower your voice and to re-empower your ability to communicate is life-changing. It's really life-changing. And again, it's relevant because as a YouTuber, when I decided, like, I made the cardinal decision, I was like, I'm going to be a YouTuber, I literally would go into forests, usually on mushrooms, and spend like 4 hours a day and just flip on a camera and just start to talk. Like, start to just pull these threads of my own philosophies, my own psychology, and yeah. Yes, sir. There's a strength in solitude. Of course. Definitely not. Those two things are not mutually exclusive or whatnot. Yeah. Oh yes, growing as a couple together is not just a marriage. See, that's a question. Again, I'm not an expert. Like, I'm 31, and my relationships barely last longer than a year. Like, my longest relationship's like a year and a half, and like, sort of what I just expressed is I'm also at peace with exiting relationships that do not serve me. And this is, weirdly enough, this is a strangely undervalued trait. Like, a lot of people, for whatever reason, at least not a lot, I don't know, again, the mass majority, but I've heard of people that stay around relationships for a lot longer than they should. And I understand why. Like, I 100% understand it. But yeah, I'm just saying, as I'm not an expert, I don't know honestly what it takes to like grow a lifelong successful marriage and thing. I'm just saying what I have observed, and I think part of my strength in, say, navigating relationships is just being able to communicate to myself and to my partner. And again, the first emphasis to myself is most important, because that's the whole core thing I was starting this whole conversation with, is you have to understand your relationship with yourself intimately to really be able to set the tone and hold space for that in the context of an intimate partner. It's like, it all starts with your relationship with yourself, which makes sense. You've probably heard this before. Some beautiful harmonics. It is true. Yeah. This is great. Unorthodox as fuck, but this is great. For a good couple or marriage, you need to listen. Yeah, brother, it is really, that is like the essence of it. It's like, if you can like really learn how to listen. Like, again, yeah, this is like, this is the psychology. Like, learn, yeah, if you find, yeah, these are like basic 101 psychology. It's like, learn to listen And obviously, not as easy as said than done. Like, obviously, we're all so attached to our egos. Like, we can't, it's just a lifelong endeavor to let ourselves successfully step outside the ego or just put the ego in check, recognize the role of it. That was a cool melody. Yeah, I mean, I think really, like, again, this is me sort of tangenting, but also just like summarizing. I really think truly, like, a lot of these things, we could look at like our ego, the context of XYZ that can go right or wrong within the context of a healthy long-term relationship. But I really strongly feel, and this again centers sort of what I was talking about, understanding to study social dynamics, is the essence of how you can understand how to nurture and create a healthy relationship is to know your desires, know what you desire in a relationship. Basically, know what you want in general, like know your needs, know your desires, know all these pieces of it. Because let's be real, like, how in the world can you ever cultivate and attract what you desire if you don't even know this yourself? Like, this is a very strange commonality, maybe in the younger generations who are like trying to figure this out, where people are trying to get in relationships when they don't even actually know what they want. Like, they have zero clue in some regards, where they're just like trying to enter a relationship and they have zero idea what they desire, what they want in life and love and XYZ, and then they expect their partner to figure out. But the reality is, your partner, they can't meet you if you have no idea what you actually want. And obviously, the same on the opposite perspective is exactly true. If you're trying to find a partner who's never navigated their dating world or what their desires are, what that even looks like, and they have no clue, then they're inevitably never going to be able to have these desires or needs met. It's just a lot of these things, like the dysfunction really ends at you knowing and meeting yourself and being honest with yourself of what you really want, and not just love, but in life. Once you figure that out, then it's like, and it's not easy necessarily, but it does come down to that. It's like you just gotta focus and envision what you really want in life. And of course, yeah, intimacy is just a mirror. We got something up on YouTube. Finally, after 4 days. Hey, wicked brother. Here's to building momentum, Floyd Rose. Here's to building momentum, brother. I feel you about like the process of like almost getting creative blocks sometimes with YouTube it's a process. It's a process. Yes, manage big responsibility. Yeah, yeah, often simple, easier. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. These are things that surely, these are social dynamics and societal dynamics one could just like conceptualize all day long. Yeah. Interesting stuff though. Genuinely. Found my half of the apple. Huh. Oh yes. It's hard every day, but we respect each other. Partner's the opposite of me. Hey, that's phenomenal. I mean, I speak of this once or twice, but I'm a firm believer in, just letting people be happy for what brings them happiness. Like, I think this is a sort of a weird parallel in this world where some of us, like, we can't fundamentally, like, again, I may be thinking of my own biases, but it's like, I think it's important in life just to let other people be happy for other people. We're not all on the same journey. We're not all gonna like know what the answer is or what we all you know, we can't all see eye to eye about everything, but I think it is such a key important thing to like celebrate or even just like honor what other people find happiness. I mean, just like it's just like in the simplest right. Like you can talk about relationships, but you can talk about like, you know, I'm playing guitar. Guitar makes me happy. You know, some people like making puzzles or like playing with puzzles or like, you know, maybe like archery or like weird things. Like people, a lot of people just find happiness in simple things or like in things that are different. And I think it's important for people to respect each other's like differences of just like, you know, it's like, you know, why stress about like, but this person that, or people try to like intellectualize things to death. It's like, damn, like sometimes you kind of just accept. And this is like, I think, I'll be honest, I think this is a important element in the process of healing, like healing the psyche and the healing in general is like just learning how to literally just be like, you know what, I'm happy for XYZ. Like not even just a person, but like being happy for other people's happiness. Like being like, man, just because that doesn't make, you know, I don't understand why this makes this person happy, doesn't necessarily mean they don't deserve to just appreciate and just enjoy whatever makes them happy. It's like, I don't know. It's something I remember thinking about a lot. And this surely can apply to intimate partners. So invited to my wedding. I'm assuming, yeah, you're saying this homie's wedding. I'll be honest, like, low key, I mean, I know you're talking probably about the other homie where it's like, I'm assuming one day, I'm assuming that I will, like, I'm almost pretty certain that I will attract and cultivate a healthy, like, long term relationship that will maybe translate into something like marriage. Maybe it will, I don't know, but it's like, yeah, it's like only time will tell. You know, I have honestly no idea, but I'd like to believe that on the path I'm on, I'm emotionally mature enough to nurture something like that if it were to be so. Because, yeah, kind of like the same center thing I said about an hour ago or however long it's been on the stream, it's like, love is great. Like, I love love. Like, it's great to find things that genuinely just make you happy and just like, yeah. And honestly, it's a bizarre thing, and in this world, again, I have no perspective or insight into the entirety of this world, but it seems like a lot of this world is it's kind of lost that. It's lost that truth. It's lost that core truth of being like, how can we tap into that glimmer of like love, of just like finding how to open our hearts to receiving love, like finding like true appreciation and love within partnerships and letting that last. Like that seems to be like a lost art form. So when it's found, you know, when it's nurtured, I say I commend and my hats are off to those that do find love in this world and continue to find that, because like it seems like it's a dying art form. I'd like to be wrong about that though. I think I'm gonna switch from 432 hertz. Seems very beautiful, but very solemn. I don't think it captures the energy what I'm feeling. There we are. It's getting dark out. Beautiful. What's with that? I mentioned such intellectual count. Sick, dog. Yeah. I I have to say, I imagine this too. Like I don't know you guys personally too well, but I imagine I'm sitting in a room or like a virtual room of like future great dads. But that's high praise if that's directed to me, because I appreciate that, dog. Strangely enough, I've always felt that. I don't know why. Like maybe it's my own strange bias, but always as like a 12-year-old kid, I always like actually would tell myself that. I was always like, man, I don't know what the future holds, but I think one day, I know for a fact, I'm gonna be. Basically, I was saying this in almost in spite of what I think I knew my parents were doing wrong as being parents, which is kind of crazy. But as a 12-year-old, yeah, I was like, I think I'm gonna be a great dad because I feel like I know I can do this better than, you know, whatever I was seeing in front of me. And it was weird, but as I think grown as a human, I think I'm looking forward to deeply being a father. It's it's a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual quest that I'm excited to be on when it happens. And who knows? Probably will happen sooner than later. You know, just continuing to go on this path. It's crazy, bro. I swear. It's like I've been so enamored. I've said this probably a lot of times with acoustic percussion elements. So you know, like acoustic percussive slaps. These last like 3 days, like I've just been like in it where I'm like, man, I feel like I can go so much deeper with this, which I've actually thought many times. It's like a recurring theme as a guitarist. But it's interesting, like even kind of just feeling into what I just did a moment ago. It's like there's so much raw expression in acoustic percussive hits. You know, percussion essentially, like percussion as a whole. It's just like it's so powerful. You are true. Orthodox love is the thing that connects us. Yeah. Yeah, it's like yeah. It's like so much of us we understand some level, right? And that's the wild thing is like love is the universal essence. It's like it's the original nature. It's the higher vibration that is present in the universe. Like if this is just like a universal fact in 2026. So most people, if you study some metaphysical philosophy, it's like that's true. It's a vibration. It's real. But it's interesting how still to this day in modern 2026, so much of us, we have like a deep seated, and this is obviously it's programmed. We have like psychological resistance. We have energetic resistance. It's like we are almost like we're on this path. We're in this human experience where we're burdened with so many things that are basically translating into resisting love. It's almost like we have this deep programming that's obviously, you know, this is society for you. It's like we're in this place where so much of us have to remove our own barriers and our own resistance to this dimension of love, which is crazy to think, where it's like love is a abundant entity, or not an entity, it's an abundant life force. It's a frequency. It's like it is the original source of all things. But the idea is that so much of us, we have to literally unpackage all these barriers, like myself included. For all of us, like we have to look at our lives and be like, wow, why are we so resistant to this truest source of energy, of love, you know, the life force? And it's like bizarre to think of that, to be like, damn, like we're in a society, we're in a programmed society that's literally just like indoctrined, and it's programmed us again, conditioned us to like naturally have all these barriers to receiving this like natural essence. And like that's bizarre because it's just oh, okay, just disconnected for a second. But yeah, it's bizarre because you think that that should be abundant. Like it's almost like this is a thing I've been like vaguely studying, but this is very relevant to my journey as a YouTuber because you know I desire to grow a large YouTube business, and I've been studying the nature of abundance, like energetic abundance, psychological abundance. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn as human beings, and I recognize this very early on to understanding abundance. But the idea is that if you think about this, this is a concept that doesn't ring very true, or doesn't ring very resonant. It's not very resonant with capitalist modern society. But the idea is that this reality is abundant. Like that's the weird reality. This is kind of a crazy thing when you think of all the shit that goes on in the world. Reality is abundant. Like this world here, this is like the encapsulation of this. I think is beautifully worded by this book right here, right? Where it's like, where is it? There's an opening statement in this book that I really liked. It's almost like the simplest, yeah, the generosity of spirit is infinite. Like the generosity of its spirit is infinite. These words, for whatever reason, just blew my mind. And therefore, nothing is more natural than abundance. That's the first opening statement to this book. This is Deepak Chopra. You might be familiar. He's like a spiritual teacher. Interesting fellow. But anyways, it says the generosity of spirit is infinite, and therefore nothing is more natural than abundance. What is unnatural is scarcity, lack, and poverty. I know that these are loaded words. All these kind of beliefs swirl around rich and poor, have and have-nots. And then it goes off into all these directions of that. But the idea is, I agree so heavily with this, is the idea that spirit, like the generosity of the spirit, is infinite. Like in this natural or this material or non-material world, all these worlds, everything is abundant. Like in the natural form, scarcity is something that's programmed into us, right? The idea of like, I do not have enough. I need more. I have to have more. That thinking that, but this universe, this reality is not truly abundant. That is a program. That's a programming that we learn. That's deeply programmed for very good reasons, obviously, but maybe not obviously. But that's the bizarre thing, is like when we return to the natural truth, as is with this simple statement, is the generosity of spirit is infinite. And again, this is hard maybe to process and really digest, because in this modern world, we are like controlled beyond a shadow of a doubt. We are manipulated by the forces of material wealth and by the idea that, but scarcity is so real. Scarcity is the fact of the matter. But yeah, I think what I'm simply saying in the simplest statement is, this is the study of financial intelligence. This is like this is a bizarre concept that I myself have been very new to studying, but financial intelligence is a belief system. It's like the ability to understand wealth and be like, how can I create, attract, and believe that we are worthy of receiving wealth is 1000% a belief system. And it starts very deep in your psyche. Like, it's not just a thing that, for some people, surely it's like a completely different system. May contact you. For sure, brother. Theater director and theater actor making a play. That's a beautiful, that sounds like a beautiful opportunity, brother. Sure. I'll shoot you my Instagram. Yeah. Or maybe, send me your Instagram and I'll add you. I have my Instagram open here right now, but yeah. But I'd be happy to talk about that. That'd be sick as fuck. Love is God. Resistance is spiritual warfare. Absolutely, Anthony. Absolutely. That is deep facts. And resistance is the spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is deeply woven. It's very deeply ingrained. But 1000%, it goes deep. Feels like talking to you feels like talking to a therapist. That's wild. I appreciate that. I feel like I've successfully integrated the ability to psychoanalyze myself. It's just like what I love to approach. So that's wicked. I appreciate that. That just like, yeah, that's high praise. But yeah, brother, Lomar Arts, Toronto, or Teatro. Feel free. I've actually posted on my YouTube posts my Instagram for those that desire to find this. But yeah, send me your Instagram. Like, feel free to delete the comment if you don't want people to publicly follow you after, but I can add your Instagram. Yeah. Play Stairway to Heaven. I honestly don't know how to play that song anymore, brother. Yeah, I learned that song when I was like 12, and I've forgotten it to this day. Yeah, I can't say. That's legendary. Yeah, honestly, I forgot. I know Stairway to Heaven's actually such an easy song, isn't it? Like, I swear I could probably learn it, or relearn it, pretty fast. What is it like? Maybe not that fast. Oh yeah, I could probably run this pretty fast, but I don't think I can perform it for you right now. I forgot how easy Stairway to Heaven was though. Like I swear, it's like a beautiful, such a iconic riff, iconic as fuck. Yeah, yeah, brother. But feel free, Lomar Arts Teatro. Add me on Instagram, brother, or send me your Instagram. I'll repost my Instagram for the sake of this, but yeah, that sounds like a super dope endeavor. All right, so it looks like we're approaching the 3-hour mark. I think in the next 3 minutes, we will exit this live stream. It's time to do my running cold plunge in the forest. Get that dopamine, baby. Moonlight Sonata. Hey. Moonlight Sonata. I'm familiar with that song. Not playability, but Moonlight. I'm pretty sure I know what Moonlight Sonata is. I've heard Marcin. That being said, I'm not a cover artist primarily. I'm not. Yeah, I barely ever spend time covering other people's music. I mainly just write music and I work on improvisation. But I like covering other people's music sometimes, but honestly, it's like that's a thing I would do like 10 years ago when I was new. Ah, of course, Beethoven, yeah. The homie Beethoven. Shout out Beethoven. Yes. I know Moonlight Sonata sounds incredible on guitar. That's what I recall. It's like Marcin did a remake. Yeah. Damn, Marcin is just, man, that dude's a legend. Like, always impressed by Marcin. Shout out Marcin. Absolutely, brother. Yeah, it's Neurohacker. Yeah, legitimately, if you just type neuro as in neurology, so Neuro, and then hacker with a second R at the end. So Neurohacker with a second R. Yeah. Any Michael Jackson riff. Honestly, not familiar with any Michael Jackson music. Yeah. I mean, I like Michael Jackson musically, but not enough to like cover his music. It's generally for some reason it's never really been my thing. Probably because there's just so many other artists that I'm just like baffled by. Man, I just gotta say, low key, just randomly get this like Suits official popping up. Shout out to Suits. Suits is just such a great show. I don't know why. I talk about it all the time, but like, damn, Suits is great. Legendary show. But yeah, brother, for the homies, the two homies that were talking, it was like Neurohacker with the second R. All right, I think we're gonna put a close to this live stream at this point. Yeah, it's been a beautiful 2 hours. Eric Clapton, I don't think you understand. I can't say I know much Eric Clapton. I know, like, I think, what is it? Cliffs of Dover. I know of the song, but yeah, I don't think you understand. I mean, I'm assuming, I think, yeah, you are, I think you said you are a guitarist, but as a guitarist to guitarist to guitarist, I must say, like, for me, it's a red flag when people don't necessarily understand why people don't spend all day covering other people's music. Not saying that's you, but like, I'm just saying, like, for me, it's like I intentionally don't cover other people's music anymore. I spend my time writing music, learning to improvise, teaching people music, breaking down riffs. Like, that's literally 90% of my time. It's just like music, but not, I don't just sit there and learn other people's music. That's like boring as shit to me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do have different tastes. Like, I'll be honest, the riffs that I will cover, I'd be learning stuff like I fuck with Oasis, Three Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, um, lots of like rock, punk rock, metal, alternative rock. That shit's just like it does it for me. But yeah, but I'm just saying, I just barely spend time covering other music. I don't know. It's just it's a weird part of where I'm at in my musical journey. It's like I've been playing guitar for about 16, probably coming up 17 years, and I swear for like 11 years, that was my emphasis. Learning Avenged Sevenfold, Metallica, freaking 3 Days Grace, just so much stuff. Like pretty much all the songs of a lot of like metal rock. I learned so much of the covers, and honestly, that stuff taught me how to learn a foundation musically. But a lot of it, I just forgot about it. Like after 10 years of like writing original stuff, that just bored me. But also can't I can't say no to perform Nirvana either. I love Nirvana though, but yeah, it's not an artist I spend time learning how to cover. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I appreciate the request though. uh, Phenomenal. All right, I think now we're coming up to the 2 hour mark. I'm gonna exit this live stream. Thank you so much for chiming in. Yeah, I deeply appreciate the support and very much. If this content resonates with you, feel free to follow this channel. I teach guitar and I do meditative sound journeys in various dimensions of improvisation. And yeah, I teach improv. Peace. Good luck with your guitar journeys, brother. Good luck. Thank you, brother. You as well. We got this. We got this, boy. Much love. Ashe.